Folks, let's catch up on the campaign for Kiev to Rostov. So we finished up turns 32 and 33, and there's no dashes to Rostov or Kharkov or anything going on, but the Germans are building slightly on their successes of crossing the Dnieper. Down here towards the Crimea, we ended up having to do like a mass attack here because that center unit is adjacent to everything there. So it was a 2-to-1 attack, and there's only one result where there's no effect on a 10-sided dice, and guess what? We got a no effect. So just some wasted air power, some wasted artillery fire, and nobody budged. Nothing really going on in the pocket of the Dnieper yet. Because like I say, got to get supply out this way first so I can get unit strengths for the Germans. So pretty much right now, the Germans and the Italian units are just going out there to screen. Did get a supply MSU out there. He was sitting back here behind the town of Krivoy Rog. So he can probably supply those, let's see, 1, 2, and he can supply those 2 hexes next turn if I decide to do that. The Germans got across the bridge here at Kremenskut, or Kremenskut, whatever, and they did. It's okay. So this is a tricky part of this game. The bridge in there is a railroad. You have 2 bridges crossing that river right there in the same hex. One's a railroad bridge, one is a road bridge, and you've got to treat them when you're doing a repair like 2 separate bridges. I've also got to check on the rule for the German bridge here because he may not be able to be used in that hex. If he is, I'm going to flip that and there'll be a bridge there. I got to check on that. So they were able to reduce 1 step. A blown bridge has 2 steps for both. And it's much harder to repair a railroad bridge. First off, you got to have a railroad an RCP marker, one of the German railroad markers, has to be up there to the bridge. So I can't even begin to repair the rail bridge there. So I have 2 bridge markers in there. One's 2, and they were successful. There's 2 engineer units in there, so they got like +2 on the die roll for bridge repair for each of the engineers. So they ended up rolling like a 10, and that removed 1 point. So they got to do it again in order to repair it. Of course, they got to hold on to both sides first. I'm going to put my I own you marker back on here. Stacks are getting pretty big, it's like OCS. All right, the road net, it's still pretty much where it was. This rail marker, I did move him right here, moved him a little bit forward. I need to get him to Kirovograd, or whatever it is, so that I can extend that road net farther. And then, of course, I got to keep pushing from there. You don't get many. You get 6 RCPs, and next term we're going to be into the German fuel pauls or whatever, supply pauls. So that's going to take it down to like 3 conversions per turn for like 5 turns. That's terrible. But you have to do it. You don't have any choice. The Germans did attack across the river here. They've gotten across. And that bridge marker right there, like I said, I'm going to check on that. I'm pretty sure that one's going to be flipped over, so they'll at least have a crossing there. Let's see. All right, back over here towards Kiev. The Germans attacked here and got across. That was interesting. No damage was done. The result was an R for the Russians. So that entire stack had to retreat 2 hexes. And that was lucky because I think the attack was a -1 die roll. Or was a +1, I can't remember. Whatever it was, it shifted it because it would have been damage to the Germans on the original one, but the shift made it, the Russians had to end up having to retreat. We attacked that little unit right here. So the river there creates, these guys their zone of controls don't extend across it. So by attacking him, they did not have to attack him. So both these units in the artillery attacked him. And damn if they didn't they took 1 step loss and they put 2 on the German units. So they both have reduced markers underneath them. So they're not across there. They are across the Dnieper at 2 points right there. This, like I say, the successful attack with retreat, and this one on the last turn where they got across, and of course, he's out of supply because he's on the other side of the river. And the two guys here are out of supply still. They're not doing anything. Don't really have anything to put across here to help them, because you're not going to move motorized across here without a bridge. And you know what? That might be something I need to do, is drop a bridge right there, because there's roads right there. That might be a good thing. They're not major roads, but they're roads. All right, Kiev. I said Kiev by week's end. Kiev is now German control. All right, actually, they were pretty easy fights. Attacked across the river, and we attacked the other hex of Kiev. It was an easy victory. And so now we own both of those. So that between the two of them, that was 12 victory points, because we did it before game turn 39. And we attacked across the river, and I got engineers on both sides. We attempted to repair that bridge, but it's a railroad bridge. Actually, you know what? There's a road bridge in there too. I need to do that. But the railroad bridge, you get a -3 on the die roll trying to repair a railroad bridge. And like I say, there's 2 steps. So they ended up rolling they ended up with a +1 for the engineers. And I think they rolled like a 5. And you got to roll 9 or better to reduce a step. So nothing happened there, but I probably need to do the road bridge one. So, oh no, I can't. I can only do one or the other. And I tried to do the railroad. So, darn, I should have done the road. Bad choice. My bad. And you got this one over here on the other side. That's also a railroad bridge. And since both engineers were used, you only have to have one engineer. So you have to have the railhead marker here, and you have to have at least one engineer in one of the railroad or the bridge hexes on either side. So I can't even repair the railroad bridge on this side over here, because I got to have the rail line would have to go this way or go across and come around. So we got to get that railroad bridge up and fixed, or maybe at least get the road so I can push supplies across, because now they're going to be out of supply in the next supply determination phase. All right, so everything up here, the next turn's coming up. The Germans are going to that fuel pause, or that supply pause. And then all this stuff up here is going to get motive activated. Then you're going to start having troops coming down, Germans coming down from up here. And that, I think that's probably over the next 2 or 3 turns. That's where it's going to start. Well, let's say next 4 to 5 turns, the situation should start developing a little bit more. And I may have to start using the German breakdown, where we can break down the units into these regimental. I may have to start doing that. I got a feeling I'm going to have to, in order to cover more ground. It may be one of those cases where I break down units over here in the pocket, just a screen, and leave the strong units working there. I decided to shift the motorized and the Panzer Division that was sitting down here, just hovering in Krivoy Rog. I decided to start moving them north to help in that. So the Germans are up to 30 victory points now. The Soviets brought on some reinforcements, and that cost them 5 victory points, but they've got to have them. They need those reinforcements. All right, so we're through the 33rd, and ready to start the 34th turn, and let's get this thing posted so y'all can see what's going on. The Germans they're across in a couple steps. They got the opportunity to drop some bridges. Not going to do them much good. I mean, you can trace supply across them, but if they're not on a road, which it's really not going to matter too much down here yet, because we haven't. This one would be useful, and this one here would be useful, and Kiev will definitely be useful. This is going to collapse over here. I think there's too much German force here, and these guys are going to have to skedaddle. The problem is, if you skedaddle on that, well, I take it back. Kiev is now taken, so that means all that stuff gets activated now. They can all function. All right. So let's get this thing up, let y'all see what's going on with this, and we'll get after the next couple game turns. All right, talk to y'all soon.